Attacking stations that hold supersonic airplanes deep within Russian territory appears to be part of an increased effort by Ukrainian forces to undermine Russian air superiority in the conflict. Kiev claimed to have launched a drone attack on the Russian military airbase at Shaykovka on Monday, around 200 kilometers, 130 miles, northeast of the Ukrainian border. Another Ukrainian drone reportedly struck the Soltsy military base in the Novgorod region over the weekend, hundreds of kilometers north of Ukraine. The counteroffensive by Ukraine has faced significant challenges due to Moscow's hegemony in the skies. In recent weeks, Ukrainian soldiers have been pushing through thick minefields and numerous layers of resistance along the front lines while frequently coming under attack from above. For this reason, Kiev has prioritized obtaining F-16 fighter jets from its allies. It will take many months for Ukrainian pilots to receive the necessary training, despite the fact that the Netherlands and Denmark both agreed this week to furnish the aircraft. Ukraine appears to be attempting to weaken Russia's air force in the interim by hitting its air bases. Since the beginning of its full-scale invasion of Ukraine last year, Russia has utilized Tupolev Tu-22M3 supersonic long-range bombers based at the Shaykovka military air station to attack targets in that country. Just last week, the Ukrainian Air Force claimed that 4 Kh-22 cruise missiles had been fired against Ukraine by planes flying out of Shaykovka. A drone strike on the Shaykovka base in the Kaluga area of Russia occurred on Monday, according to Andrei Yusov, a spokesman for Ukraine's defense intelligence, and at least one aircraft was damaged. Yusov stated the strike was carried out in clear coordination with the main Directorate of Intelligence of the Ukraine's Defense Ministry, adding that this particular task was carried out from within Russian territory, in an interview with Ukrainian media outlet Liga.net. In many other cases, he said, Ukraine carries out various activities from within Russia. On the most recent event, Russia has not made any formal comments. A Ukrainian drone was said to have crashed at the Shaykovka facility on Monday, according to Baza, a Russian social media blog with strong ties to the nation's security agencies, and an unused aircraft at the airfield was damaged. It said that no formal confirmation of the information had been made. The incident was also reported by MASH, a different Russian Telegram channel. A Ukrainian UAV touched down on the airfield's property at 8 this morning. Our intelligence indicates that it was a civilian helicopter outfitted with an IED, improvised explosive device, and a reinforced battery. The helicopter was identified in time and brought down, according to MASH. Vladislav Shapsha, the region's governor, had earlier claimed that a UAV strike had been repelled in the Kirov district. The airbase is located approximately 15 kilometers north of Kirov. According to Yusov, Russia was attempting to downplay the incident. One plane, at least, has damage. As is typical, the Russian government is making an effort to conceal the full scope of the losses and damage, he said. In barely 3 days, there had already been a second attack upon a Russian airbase housing sophisticated equipment. A plane at a military airstrip in Soltsy, in the northwest Novgorod area, was reportedly destroyed by a Ukrainian drone on Saturday, according to the Russian Defense Ministry. Regarding that occurrence, Ukraine made no comments. The drone impacted the field early on Saturday morning, according to the Russian ministry, sparking a fire. The drone was allegedly seen and hit by small arms. The ministry statement said merely that there were no casualties as a result of the incident but gave no further information on the damage. 222M3 supersonic bombers were also housed at this airstrip, according to satellite pictures of the base. On a photograph from August 8, several Tu-22 aircraft can be seen parked there. Then, a picture from August 21 purports to show burned land where one Tu-22M3 was stationed, but the other planes seem to have been relocated. A comparable aircraft on fire at the same site is depicted in 2 geotagged social media photographs. According to anonymous Ukrainian defense intelligence sources, attacks on Russian facilities over the previous few days have resulted in the destruction of multiple aircraft, including 2 bombers. Several Russian military bloggers, according to the Washington-based think tank Institute for the Study of War, ISW, asserted that Ukrainian forces carried out the attack using a small, reasonably priced quadcopter drone. They also criticized the Russian Ministry of Defense for not storing the aircraft in hangars where they would have been protected. Even while the destruction or damage of two Tu-22M3 bombers won't have a significant military impact, the ISW continued, the response from Russian military bloggers demonstrates that such deep attacks support larger Ukrainian efforts to degrade Russian morale. Gilgit, following a stressful operation, authorities in KP's Battlegram district declared on Tuesday that they had successfully rescued 8 people, many of them were schoolchildren, from a dangerous situation. Slung hundreds of feet over a steep valley in Alai Tahsil lies a stranded cable car whose rope broke in midair. Chairlifts, sometimes referred to as gardi in the local language in Great Britain, are typically utilized by locals to bridge rivers and reduce the distance between mountain valleys. Students must spend 3 hours descending a steep slope, crossing a river, and then climbing another mountain since distances in hilly locations like Battlegram are far greater than those of a crow flies. Local engineers frequently install cable cars to help residents and students cross the valley in order to deal with the situation. Village life is completely altered by this. The once-long trek across the valley now takes only 10 minutes, but it is still a risky one. Locals use salvaged components, like the tops of Suzuki automobiles and pickup truck bodies, to build the cable cars. Sometimes constructed from scrap iron, these improvised cabins are fastened to cables and held in place using ropes. Due to the lack of viable alternatives and the lower costs compared to building conventional infrastructure, this construction method is frequently not authorized. Modern cable chairlifts are operated by operators, making it simple to move passengers from one side to the other. Geyser native Saftar Hussein Saftar said that before there were roads and bridges, people usually used the gardi to traverse rivers and gain access to places. To cross rivers, people in rural places still use chairlifts, especially in Diamir, Skardu, Ganj, Shurgar, and Geyser. There are concerns over the safety of these locally manufactured cable vehicles, even if they offer a much-needed cure. 11 tourists had died in a cable car accident in Murray earlier in 2017. In northeast India, a bridge that was under construction collapsed on Wednesday, killing more than a dozen employees. This is just the most recent in a series of infrastructure failures that have claimed numerous lives throughout the nation. According to Jaramthanga, the chief minister of Mizoram state, the bridge collapse in the town of Sayarong resulted in at least 17 fatalities and several injuries. The demolished building can be seen lying on the ground with a strong plume of smoke and dust billowing into the air in video and photographs provided to Twitter by Jaramthanga, formerly known as X. He wrote that he was deeply saddened and affected by this tragedy. I want to send my condolences to all the families who lost loved ones and wish the injured a quick recovery. In addition, Prime Minister Narendra Modi expressed his sympathies to the families of those slain in the event when he was in South Africa for the BRICS economic meeting. Modi wrote on X, pained by the bridge mishap in Mizoram, and offered a donation of about $2,500 to the surviving family members of the deceased, as well as $600 to the workers who were hurt. The state of Mizoram is steep and hilly and is located close to Bangladesh and Myanmar. A network of unsurfaced roads, single-lane tracks, highways, and bridges provides connectivity for the region's villages and towns. India, a nation that has been swiftly updating its infrastructure and spending millions to enhance its transportation network, has seen a number of recent collapses that have made headlines. Tuesday's fall is not the first in recent months. Concerns regarding the quality of its construction were raised in June when a 4-lane concrete bridge being built across the Ganges in the eastern state of Bihar collapsed for the second time in less than a year. In the Gujarati town of Morbi, a recently restored suspension bridge collapsed in October of last year, killing 135 people. After pornographic video was shown on one of the screens, the electronic billboards in Baghdad were turned off by the Iraqi government. Following the presentation of the X-rated material to onlookers in the capital, local media stated that a guy has since been detained by police. According to Shafaq News, the digital billboards were turned off on Sunday. The report stated that Iraqi security authorities decided to temporarily turn off screens displaying advertisements in public places in the capital, Baghdad, after they were subjected to electronic hacking and immoral clips were displayed in public. According to a statement from the Iraqi Interior Ministry, the pornographic material was shown on a screen in central Baghdad's crowded Uqba bin Naif Square. Federal Intelligence and Investigation Agency of the ministry released the following statement, which was posted on Facebook. The Federal Intelligence and Investigation Agency, after obtaining judicial approvals and through fieldwork, auditing, and monitoring of surveillance cameras, was able to arrest the accused who carried out the hacking. The statement went on to say that after preliminary investigations, the accused man suggested that he had committed this immoral act due to financial problems with the owner of the company that owns the display screen. Not all of the screens are currently operational, but some of them are. Although it is unclear how successful this policy has been, the Iraqi government declared last year that it will prohibit pornographic websites. In the last 12 months, the government has also taken stronger action against influencers on social media. This year, the report platform was introduced, enabling users to anonymously submit negative or immoral internet content. Despite this, the government has maintained that there is no threat to and will always be protection for the right to free speech. Iraq's national media regulator issued an order earlier this month instructing all media and social media businesses operating in the Arab state to refer to sexual deviance instead of homosexuality. According to a document from the Communications and Media Commission, CMC, using the term gender is likewise prohibited. It forbade the use of the phrases in any mobile application developed by any phone company or internet company under its license. Iraq's penal law contains vague morals sections that have been used to discriminate against LGBT people even though the country does not officially ban homosexual intercourse. The Evros region near the Turkish border and the foothills surrounding Athens continue to burn out of control due to fires that have already claimed 20 lives in Greece. It is believed that 18 of those killed were recent border crossers, refugees and migrants who were hiding in forests to the north of Alexandroupolis. Grief for the killings in the Dadia forest near the Turkish border has been voiced by Greece. Fires have been raging west along the coast and close to the city for 5 days. Additionally, firefighters are attempting to contain a fire that has started on Mount Parnita slopes, northwest of Athens. Strong winds that fan the flames and sweltering heat of up to 40 C, 104 F, are impeding their efforts. To the north of Alexandroupolis, outside the village of Avantas, the fire department discovered the victims on Tuesday. According to government spokesman Pavlos Marinakis, unfortunately, their stay in the Dadia forest proved fatal, noting that the alarm had been sounded in the vicinity where they were discovered and that evacuation alerts had been made via the mobile 112 emergency service. Many dangers await migrants and refugees seeking to enter the European Union, including beatings, robberies, arrests, being dragged back across borders, and drowning in the Mediterranean. Now, a ring of fire in northern Greece is one of the dangers. No complaints of missing people have been made, according to the fire service's spokesman Yannis Artopios, and it is commonly believed that those who died had just crossed Greece's long, curving border with Turkey along the river Evros. The river serves as their entryway and the enormous woodland on the other side is cover for many people who are yearning to reach EU territory. According to the local coroner Pavlos Pavlidis, who stated the bodies were discovered within a 500 meters, 1,640 feet radius, some of them close to a sheep corral, all the dead were male and 2 of them were kids. To conduct the post-mortem examination, their bodies have been transported to Alexandroupolis. However, it will be challenging to identify them, and officials will require their relatives to come forward. One Syrian guy expressed concern that his 27-year-old cousin killed in the fire because he hasn't heard from him in 4 days. The relative was one of several Syrians, Afghans, and Iraqis who were attempting to go along a well-traveled road through the woodland. Despite the evacuation order, the Syrian claimed they would not have phoned Greek authorities for assistance because of fear of being transported back across the border to Turkey. According to Greek police, hundreds of traffickers have been detained and up to 900 people per day have attempted to cross illegally since the beginning of August. The business of smuggling people involves extensive criminal networks. A group of young guys attempted to board a truck waiting to enter Greece during the course of the night at the Uppsala border crossing between Turkey and Greece. One was able to remain undetected by lying flat on top. When they were discovered, the others vanished into the night. Many locals in the towns surrounding Alexandroupolis are incensed because they think that migrants who breach the border and hide in the forest before moving inland are to blame for the fires. However, there is no proof that immigrants started this fire in the Dadia forest. An outrage in Greece was sparked by a video taken in the Alexandroupolis region, which showed a man arresting migrants and refugees and locking them in a trailer connected to his automobile. As he moves around the trailer, the man accuses refugees and migrants of attempting to set Greeks on fire. He then proceeds to open the door, revealing several terrified young males. According to the police, the individual and two people suspected of aiding him were both taken into custody. They continued by saying that 13 illegal immigrants of Syrian and Pakistani origin had been detained unlawfully in the video. Separately, Supreme Court prosecutor Georgia Adialini has demanded a joint investigation into the origins of the fires in the Evros region and into suspected instances of racial violence against immigrants that have allegedly occurred in the wake of the 18 fatalities in the Dadia forest. Villages to the west and north of Alexandroupolis were evacuated as the flames grew nearer, and scores of patients from the university hospital were transferred to a ship docked at the port. The largest front in the area is currently to the west of Alexandroupolis, despite the fact that fires are still raging in the Dadia forest. Firefighters are finding the situation outside of Athens to be more and more challenging, and the village of Menidi has been evacuated of 3 nursing homes. In the foothills of Mount Parnita, Hasia and Philis homes have already burned down. Although many residents of the large district of Ano Lyosia in the capital's northwest have refused to evacuate, Greek officials have demanded that thousands of people depart.